So when once you have these divisions caused by the imposition of a foreign module of civilization and education, the artisans and the laborers, they suddenly fall out of any kind of contention, right, into civil life, into political power, right? They lose it all. What that causes is, because the Brahmins are getting ahead in this new module of civilization, now having both spiritual authority and financial power, right? These groups are left behind. And when these groups are left behind, you now have separatists and propagandists like Ambedkar, like Periyar, right? And these people would convince you that these Brahmins have always conspired against you. They make up new versions of history where where Brahmins had conspired against Kshatriyas and turned them into Shudras. That was quite literally the idea of Ambedkar. They make up false histories of Aryans supposedly attacking the Dravidians, instead of what most historians agree was thousands of years of coexistence, intermarriage, and recognizing each other's deities as valid, not in an Abrahamic way, considering the other's deities as invalid, as illegitimate or infidel, right? So that is the blight of colonialism in itself. It loses a right to voice its own history. Its voices become the separationists, the propagandists. This is not the problem with colonization. This is a result of this narrative, in fact, is the actual result of colonization. Holding on to anything that you can to claim legitimacy. Now, I would break this down on a scientific level as well.
क्यों नहीं कभी किसी को बताया कि पोस्टिशन है, ये है, पर हमने ये क्यों नहीं कभी किसी को बताया कि गौमूत्र का इक्विवेलेंट यूरिन थेरेपी मॉडर्न मेडिसिन में भी तो.
Last time I checked, humans used horses to create antivenom. They don't inject the blood of the horse itself into you. This requires careful separation of all of that toxic stuff in urine and the hormone premarin. In general, horses are much more compatible with human anatomy than a cow's anatomy is, for some reason. I don't know why that is, but horses generally do a better job. Whether it comes to premarin, whether it comes to antibodies and globulins, whatever the fuck, like antivenom and shit. This is just bullshit. You don't just drink horse urine to get premarin.
जो कि
It's consistent, like the word she is filtering out is derived from. This is like saying this phone is built from sand. This phone is built from sand and mud because the metals that were constructed to build this phone on which I'm making this video were they originated in the mud and sand, right? That's like saying a katana is made out of mud. A katana is made out of mud. Yeah, just forget the entire process which was present, right? Which was used to take out the steel from that bog trash.
मेडिसिन में भी तो एग्जिस्ट करता है, जो कि प्रेग्नेंट हॉर्स के यूरिन से बनता है. प्री-मैरिन, प्रेग्नेंट मेयर यूरिन.
You are consuming a concentrated amount of ammonia, urea, and uric acid. If you consume urine directly, it's the waste product of an animal. If you consume it, then you are consuming products which would toxicate you. Premarin is a hormone that your body needs. Ammonia, uric acid, and nitrogen wastes like ammonia and urea, those are materials that your own body throws out.
Premarin is such a big brand and it is prescribed to women in menopausal symptoms. अब आप गौमूत्र पे
it's a big brand in the same way iron or steel are a big brand, but mud and dirty water from where, like, Tamahagane, let's say Tamahagane is a big brand, but the bog water from which it is derived is not a big brand. Consume, like, you cannot make shit out of that bog water.
No problem. $2 billion का brand पे कैसे हंसोगे? But the fact is, do our own people know this? Another.
Our own, I am lucky that our own people do not know this. I believe we are lucky that our own people do not know this. I think we are lucky that our nation doesn't take people like you seriously on an academic level, who don't have any basic idea about substance separation, about all of the processes which are used to separate the required chemical from a larger substrate.
एग्जाम्पल यूरोकिनेस जो 1950s में बननी शुरू हुई थी फ्रॉम ह्यूमन यूरिन जो कि कार्डियोवास्कुलर कंडीशंस में यूज होती है.
From human urine. It's not human urine. If you consume human urine, you're gonna get cardiovascular conditions pretty soon, because your body is gonna have all kinds of problems with that poisoned blood. There's a reason that people do not consume their own urine. And only do so when they are in the desert. And when they do consume their own urine, they report that every time the urine becomes more and more unpalatable, right? It becomes more and more difficult to consume. It's basically their own taste buds are telling them that what they're consuming is poisonous.
तो गौमूत्र को बदनाम करने वाले ये 2-4 बिलियन डॉलर के प्रोडक्ट में तो नहीं हंसते ना.
They don't laugh at those products because those products are genuinely life-saving products. People like you are shameful to an entire nation. Shameful to people like you, to people like me, and people like you should be laughed at. People like you should be ridiculed. People like you should be deplatformed instead of whoever makes a so-called offensive jokes. So-called offensive joke. People like Ranveer Alabadi are deplatformed, but people like you who are promoting genuinely anti-health, possibly harmful like promoting harmful information, are not deplatformed. This is the tragedy of this nation.